Hey there gang, your Guitar Sage. Today we're going to learn some techniques that I've used a lot in these videos, and specifically we're doing left and right hand mutes. So what this allows us to do is it allows us to play full chords, allows us to get a nice full strumming rhythm and not have to be concerned with, say, if a chord has 4 strings or 5 strings. Of course, we've got 6 strings here, so if you're trucking along doing a nice strum here like this, and you happen across, say, like an A minor chord or a C chord, those are chords that require 5 strings instead of 6, then, or say a D, that technically is a 4-string chord, at least our open one that we use, that goes like this, then you don't want to have to stop and think about, okay, well, what am I going to do rhythmically here? Or now this chord is 4 strings, so I need to be real careful. So, you know, you can do that, but honestly, there's some other techniques that make it a lot smoother. It's going to make it sound a lot better, and we're going to talk about that here today. Okay, so first off, a lot of the techniques that I'm using here are going to be helpful in the other videos and the other songs that I'm teaching here, and also this is kind of a supplementary video to the ebook that I sell at YourGuitarSage.com. So if you haven't checked that out already, then please go to that. Okay, so here we are. We're going to talk about some like A minor, C, D, those sorts of things, and show you kind of some basic techniques that I use. Okay, first off, left hand technique. If I'm strumming, say, like a G chord, I'm sorry, an E minor chord, or an E major chord, something like that, I'm using all 6 strings, so there's no need for me to mute, okay? There's other times, though, say like on a G chord, if you've watched any of my covers that I teach, you'll notice that on my G chord, a lot of times you'll see my first finger stick out like that. Some people say, what are you playing? Well, it's a G chord, but what I'm doing is I'm taking this middle finger here, and I'm kind of laying it over a little bit to where kind of the fat of my second finger there lays over on to the 5th string there, and it mutes it. Okay, if I didn't mute it, of course it would play. So you take that over, you kind of lean it over a little bit, and now instead of this G, which plays all 6 strings, I'm playing this kind of G, which mutes the 5th string. So that's muted. Okay. Why do I play that as opposed to this one? Personally, I like the tone of it better. I think these two sounds together, these 2 notes, are a little bit muddy. And what we mean by muddy is when you've got 2 notes that are very close together, they kind of rub each other sonically. That would be a note that really rubs against the other. Okay, and of course that's dissonant, and as you get further away, it becomes more tolerable. But for me, when I'm playing this G chord, to me that's a little bit muddy on the low end, whereas I like this sound better. You may not hear a difference there, but I truly like that one better, and it's a lot easier to play, so yay for me. Okay, so what else? Let's talk about some 5th string chords. Okay, so for instance, like my A minor, and your A minor too, I didn't invent it, but there's an A minor, there's a C, right? There's a B7. If you don't know any of these chords, go to YourGuitarSage.com, and I've got a little primer there that you can get that'll help you with all this, okay? So when I'm strumming these, let's say I'm playing a chord progression, and I'm doing something like, just dropped my pick. I'll get that now. If you know, when I'm going to this A minor, you'll notice my thumb come around the top here and mute that 6th string. That's very beneficial, because then when I'm strumming, going from the E minor to the A minor, I don't have to think, okay, 5 strings now. So I've seen some people strum and they'll go, sometimes they're hitting 5 strings, sometimes they're hitting 4, and other times they're hitting 6, so they might miss and hit that low note. So what this does is it allows you to have more control over your chords, and allows you to play those full-on strums where you're hitting all 6 strings. You're hitting them, but you're muting the ones that you don't want to play. So your strums are nice and steady, nice and strong, and you don't have to waste brain power thinking about how many strings to play. Okay, same thing when I'm going from the A minor to the C. Bring that thumb around, and now when I'm teaching this technique out of my studio, the first thing that people do is they bring that thumb all the way around and they're doing this, okay? Several reasons why you don't want to do that. One, think about like slack in your hand here. If I'm reaching my thumb around, then these fingers are not going to be able to be playing on top of their, on the fingertips. You're going to be playing on the pads, which is going to make your chords sound like poo because you're muting notes, right? So it's important that you have some slack in your hand here so your hand can get out front. Okay? Bringing this thumb around, the only thing you need to do, you need to be aware of this when you're doing it. When you're bringing your thumb around, feel. When you can feel that 6th string touching your thumb, that's all the pressure you need, okay? You just want to barely touch it. Barely touching it is more important than touching it a bunch because you're going to actually play the note. So just barely touch that 6th string with your thumb, and then there you go, okay? So when you're practicing your chords, these 5th string chords, include that thumb every time so that you can get a feel for it and it becomes part of your chord. So you're not having to worry about, oh, for the love of Pete, you're not having to worry about that being a secondary thing. It's just your chord. When I grab an A minor, oh, that thumb's always there. That thumb's always there on the C. Okay? Now, sometimes I might not want to do that. Maybe I'll want to play an A minor with an E in the bass. So in that case, I just lift my thumb. Something like that. Or if I wanted to say, play a C with a G in the bass, I might do something like this. I might go with a G in the bass and be. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the D chord here. So if I'm playing a D chord, and that works the same thing with that B7 chord, you bring that thumb around. Okay. As far as a D chord, a D major consists of a D, an A, and an F sharp. Okay, those are the 3 notes that are in a D major chord. So technically, when I'm playing this D, we typically put the bass note or the letter name of the chord into the bass. So if it's a D chord, typically a D is in the bass. If it's an A chord, A minor, A is in the bass, an A chord, an A is in the bass, A7, A is in the bass. Same thing with the E chords. E major, E minor, E7. Okay, so we've got that E in the bass then. So for the D, typically I'll put the D in the bass, but because it's hard to kind of reach around here and grab both the 6th and 5th string, then we can, sorry, I'm looking at my time here and how much time we have left, and we're just about over, so I gotta hurry it up. On the D string here, what I want you to do is just mute the top E, okay? This is why. The A is technically in the chord, and it won't sound bad having it in the low bass, okay? So there's my D chord. I got the A in the bass, so not a big deal. But I want to take it out, it would sound like this. It's kind of a reach. Hurts my thumb because I've got arthritis in my hands. Had it since I was a teenager. So, yeah, that didn't feel good. But you hit a D, you can leave that A in there. Okay. All that's as far as left-hand techniques. It looks like we're running out of time, so I'm going to do another video here on right-hand techniques as far as muting and that sort of thing. So thanks for stopping by. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit subscribe. If you haven't already, visit YourGuitarSage.com, get that ebook, and it will help supplement all these other lessons that I'm teaching on here, especially the covers, the songs. So over and out. Go Brack.